Next up
at UFC Seattle,
we've got the main event
of the
evening.
We have
Henry Cejudo, former double champ. Henry Cejudo. By the way, Brendan Allen dropped Sam Alvey and Bruno Silva and subbed them both. People are like, oh, who has he dropped? Oh, Kyle Dawkins. He didn't actually sub him, but he dropped Aaron Jeffrey as well. So 3 people he's dropped and then subbed. You small dicked fucking loser piece of shit. Who the hell is Brendan Allen? 3 separate fucking people.
Is it him? Who we yelling at? That loser? Love it. All right, let's go ahead. Next up, at UFC Seattle, we have the main event of the evening. We have former Olympic gold medalist. Actually, I think you just keep that forever. We have Olympic gold medalist Henry Cejudo taking on Yadong.
Didn't
Song.
Marab get that? When you're getting carried across the octagon, I think you kind of got to give it up.
What do you get? He just.
By the way, what's with fucking what's his name? The Olympic gold medalist heavyweight guy that's 29 years old wrestling at Minnesota, whatever. Gable Stevenson. He's like 25 years old, beating up on these fucking college kids. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He's the best wrestler in the world, and I didn't know he's still in college.
He gets to compete as a college kid. That is wild.
He's just smoking them all. I see highlights of it. It's like, yeah, he's a fucking gold medalist. What is he doing? He's fucking wrestling some 19-year-old kid.
Well, he's a gold medalist, but he's not even young. It'd be one thing if he's an Olympic gold medalist at 20.
He literally is like 25 years old.
Yeah.
What are we doing? How is that? Why is he doing that? Just cause?
Well, to get his degree.
Is he getting NIL money?
Well, yeah, I'm sure he is too. Yeah, I'm sure all of the above. There's a reason. There's definitely because he could make a fortune right now in the WWE.
Fight me, pussy. Fight a real man.
He would. All right, let's back up and do this again. Next up at UFC Seattle, we have the main event of the evening. We have Henry Cejudo taking on Yadong Song. Henry Cejudo, notably, Triple C. He's Triple C because he was an Olympic champion, the flyweight champion, and the UFC bantamweight champion of the world. He is 16-4 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He is looking for his first win since the pandemic. He's taking on Yadong Song, 21-8 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off the close loss to Petr Yan. Henry Cejudo, as I mentioned, one of the most decorated fighters UFC has ever seen. An Olympic gold medalist wrestler. He was the flyweight champion of the world, the bantamweight champion of the world, and he retired on top. He left in 2020 as the double champ. He vacated 2 belts. 2 different divisions had no idea what to do, and they had to build that back up. He took 3.5 years off. He came back, and he almost beat Aljamain Sterling. I thought he did beat Aljamain Sterling.
I thought he beat him too.
And a lot of people, dude. The problem is, the bigger we get, the more people that watch. Which is actually that's not a problem.
He won the 5th round. That was the deciding round. I think Henry Cejudo won the 5th round. That was the deciding round.
Somebody was insisting it was 3-1 going into the 5th. It's like, dude, it wasn't. It's 2-2 going to the 5th, and he got the takedowns. So either way, point being, very, very close fight. His last fight, though, not so close. Merab Dvalishvili was just doing whatever he wanted to. He did wobble Merab a little bit, dropped him a little bit, but ultimately it didn't matter. Henry Cejudo, unfortunately, is getting a little older, but he still has the offensive wrestling. The defensive wrestling isn't as good. He still has the offensive wrestling. He still has some pretty good striking. He's taking on Song Yadong. Technical striker, moves really well. He hits fast. He's hard. He's athletic. He can be hittable, though. He gets hit with almost 4 significant strikes per minute. He throws everything with power. That does leave him open at times for takedowns because he will plant and then throw. He's very good at creating space to get back to his feet. He does like to dictate the pace. If you dictate and if you push forward, he doesn't work as well backwards as he does when he's the one dictating. But he is also comfortable against grapplers. We saw that with Ricky Simone, where he'll let his hands go and he just trusts the takedown defense. I'm a big Henry Cejudo guy. I mentioned in my quick picks, I bought his book.
You're the big Henry Cejudo guy because he's not a big guy.
He is tiny. He's 5'5". Anyway, I bought his book.
Imagine this is the first time tuning in and you're like, what the fuck was that? You ever try out new laughs?
When you were doing the... No.
I used to sit around all the time as a kid and just try out new laughs.
Nothing about that surprises me. What will surprise me, though, is if Henry can win this fight. I'm going to pick Song Yadong. What I will say, though, is I'm a huge Henry fan. And his hands looked good against Merab. And it wouldn't be crazy if Song's too worried about the wrestling and Henry just gets his hands going. It wouldn't be crazy if Henry could get some wrestling going as well. I mean, Henry Cejudo was the best on planet Earth, took a few years off, came back, almost beat in many cases, and a lot of people think he did beat the champion of the world. And then he lost to Merab, who just beat Umar. So that loss looks even better right now.
10, 11, 12, 13,
What are you
14,
counting?
15, 16. I guess he wrestles more. I mean, there was a while he wasn't even really wrestling.
Oh, because his hands are so good. But anyway, Henry Cejudo has a path to victory here, but he's too old at this point, too slow at this point. I think Song Yadong's hands are just too fast, too clean. And if Henry doesn't have a ton of early success wrestling, Song's just going to take over more and more and more. I mean, Henry needs to set the pace instantly and be like, I can take you down whenever I want, and then get Song worrying. If he can't do that, then Song's just going to get more and more confidence, build as he goes, and maybe even find a finish. I doubt it, but maybe even find a finish late. This could look exactly like the Ricky Simone fight. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I'm definitely on the Song Yadong side. That's my dude. I'm a big fan of his and his abilities. I was let down a little bit in that Petr Yan fight. Petr Yan obviously is fucking. I mean, he might win the belt back. I mean, he is a very, very good fighter, and that was a very, very close fight. So I'm not really disappointed in the abilities that he's shown in that fight. I was disappointed in the fact that, if I remember correctly, it was like the third round, he was kind of taken down to kind of ice that fight. And it's like, I just didn't feel like the I feel like it was more of an acceptance type situation than anything. And I want to be, I want Song Yadong to be that guy. And if you're that guy, you have to win those moments. And if you want to be that guy, this is the fight. They're giving you a main event, Seattle versus the former champion who has, I know he looked a little bit disheveled, I guess, against Merab, but like you said, he dropped Merab. Yeah, I thought he won that fight versus Aljo. He is more than capable to win this fight. After watching, maybe I'm getting a little bit scared after watching last week. I didn't think that Jared had a real shot right in that fight. And then I watched that first round. I'm like, yeah, Jared, of course Jared didn't have a fucking shot. And then I watched Gregory come out that second round, and I was like, oh no, like we might be in fucking trouble here. This guy's getting fucking tired. Obviously, that doesn't typically happen with these smaller guys. We've seen Song Yadong go 5 rounds a couple times, right? We know the cardio is there, but is he the Song Yadong that is, wears the sunglasses and he shows up and he has fun and he's in these brawls and it's not kind of all in on the winning? Or is this going to be the Song Yadong where he's gonna fucking turn his career around, win the main event, get back into title contention, and be that guy who we think he's going to be? I think this fight determines a lot in the trajectory of the career of Song Yadong. Are you just that fun guy that everyone's going to be like, man, he was so good, and then he just kind of stumbled, he couldn't find his way? Are you going to find your way back into title contention by beating former champion, making a statement, right? Because I think he's big enough to I know Henry Cejudo's a tough dude. He's got that karate stance, which is tough to hit. He can counter wrestle. Obviously, he can wrestle as well. So a tough guy to finish, but if there's ever a time to make a fucking statement, Song Yadong, this is the fucking time. You're fighting an aging guy. You should be stronger in the striking and be able to defend the wrestling, in my opinion, against Henry Cejudo. So I'm going Song Yadong, but the way this year's going, it does feel a little bit weird. I respect Henry and his abilities. If he came in and pulled this out, I'm not going to be the most surprised in the room, but, Song Yadong should be able to get this.
Yeah, and I was saying in the Quick Picks video, like I only place bets I think will win, right? I never just say, wow, Henry is good. I don't think he wins, but hey, at 3-1 odds, I don't ever do that. So I'll be rooting hard for Henry. I want Henry to win. I'm not going to bet on him.
Oh, I have bets on Song Yadong, asshole.
I was going to say the only bet I would consider for Henry is a plus 5.5. That's the only bet I would consider, because he could steal a round or two. Absolutely. He's an absolute dog. What were the scorecards in the Merab fight? Did he get shut out 30-27, or did he take a round?
You kind of shut me out of the bedroom the other night.
Okay. He had him almost dropped in that fight. It wasn't technically a drop, but
it was 29-28 across the board.
Yeah, so that would have covered the plus 3.5. I think he could cover the plus 5.5 here. So I may do that just to enjoy watching this fight a little more. But outside of that, at 38 years old at bantamweight, it might as well be 40. I mean, they don't age as well. Speed, all that matters very, very much.
This could be the passing of the torch, like Henry smoked Dominic Cruz, right?
Yeah.
when Dominic looked like he was still dominant. I know he was kind of hurt and stuff like that, but he was still, except for that Garbrandt fight, he's still whatever. This could be that moment where Song Yadong kind of the next up and coming. You got the aging Henry now.
Yeah, it'll be. This is a very good main event. I am looking forward to it. $7,300 in DraftKings.
By the way,
Fantasy.
how good is Ricky Simone? He beat Merab, and Merab
subbed Merab, didn't he? Did he sub him?
Well, there was that controversy. He had him like Merab was literally convulsing, fucking, and then just like ran like the Undertaker, like stood up, and the ref's like, I think he's good.
$7,300 in DraftKings Fantasy for Henry Cejudo. I don't think that's a terrible price, honestly. I think he can score some points, potentially get a takedown or two. Problem is, if he can't get the takedowns, it's going to be a long, miserable night. That's the only thing really worrying me about that plus 5.5 on the Henry side. But either way, this is a great main event. If you want to check out all the picks, the bets, and tools, you can do so now at WeWantPicks.com. Not just this card. You'll get 4 cards for $10. That's $2.50 per card. That will include UFC 313. And before I send you on our way, make sure you download the app. Go to the App Store, search We Want Picks. The app is 100% free. It has everything the website has, and then push notifications.